Next up is Baruch Sadogursky. Baruch is head of DevOps advocacy at JFrog, and he will be speaking on container image pipeline promotion. Please welcome Baruch Sadogursky.
Hello and welcome to CDCon, Continuous Delivery Foundation Conference. Today we're going to talk about best practices in implementing container image promotion pipelines. It's a lot, we're going to unpack it very soon. But first, a disclaimer. While there are other container technologies in the market today, some of them are on the rise, others dying, still the majority of the industry, when they talk about containers, they mean Docker, and when they talk about Docker, they mean containers. And this is how I'm going to refer to containers in this talk. And with Docker, as with any other technology, this Venn diagram applies. The more you know about how the sausage is made, the less you are in love with sausages. The primary concern with Docker is that you have this uneasy feeling that you are not 100% sure that what you have in your Docker images or containers in production is what you intended to put there. We're going to speak about why and what you can do about it. My name is Baruch Sadogursky. I'm the Chief Sticker Officer of JFrog. If it was an in-person event, as I definitely hope the next one will be, I would be with you spreading stickers all around. For now, I'm going to use my head of DevOps advocacy hat to explain to you a little bit about Docker. The most important part of this slide is my Twitter handle. No, I'm just kidding. Let me tell you one phrase about JFrog. JFrog is a company behind JFrog Container Registry, JFrog Platform, JFrog Artifactory that you might have heard about. And we help companies bringing software faster to production. So fast, it looks like a flow of liquid, and this is why we call it the liquid software. Visit our booth to see demo of our products, and let's talk about show notes. This is the most important slide of this talk. If you go to jeffrog.com/show notes, you will find there the slides already there, the video already there, all the links that I'm mentioning, and a place to comment and rate, and the small raffle for coming to my talk today. So don't forget jeffrog.com/show notes. If you look at the bottom of every slide, you will find this link and my Twitter handle as the hashtag of the conference. But let's talk about promotions. Promotion pipelines are a pattern. And when we need to deal with a pattern, we should ask, do we have an existing one and should we adopt it or maybe adapt it? And here is a pipeline that we do for years, promotion pipelines. And this is something that shouldn't be new to any of you. We have this promotion pyramid that we have in the beginning, a lot of builds with very rapid tests, and the less builds survive, the more evolved the tests are all the way to production. And if we look at the same pyramid, the same promotion from a different angle, you can see here how you take the sources, you convert them to binaries with your CI server, and this is where the promotion actually begins. And the promotion is about taking artifacts, deploying them to the runtime environments, and then test them on those environments. If the tests succeed, and if the quality requirements are hit, and that will be your tests, your security checks, your license compliance check, your performance, everything, then those artifacts are promoted through quality gates, those logs, through quality gates to the next environment. And we do the same again. We deploy them to the runtime, we test the hell out of them, we promote them further through quality gates all the way to production. Now, the problem with Docker is that it makes it very easy to do the right thing, and it makes it very easy to do the wrong thing and very hard to do the right thing. Let's start with the easy and the wrong way. And the easy and the wrong way is actually just rebuilding the image all the time. Rebuilding the image all the time has two benefits. First, it's easy and it's just done. And the second is you don't need to promote anything. All you need is retag your Docker file. You build it for one environment, deploy it, test it, it's fine. You retag your Docker image, you build it for your next environment, and you check it again, and then all the way until you build it in production and it looks like it actually works. But there is a huge danger in those continuous builds. And the danger is that Docker builds are very, very rarely deterministic. And by that, I mean rebuilding might produce different results. Why, you ask? So that's why I wanted to create the most unstable Docker image just for the demonstration purposes, but then I just went online and I saw tons of images which are ridiculously fragile just over there that people go ahead and use. This is a real world example. You can go to jfrog.com/show notes and see the link to GitHub of this Docker image. It's just there. And then you can see how every line is this Docker image is actually a latest dependency of some sort. And you can say, well, but you're just doing it wrong. You can write a better Docker image. Well, let's try. First of all, we can nail down the from image. Is it better? Well, to an extent. It is 1904, but you need to remember that Docker images are mutable. And that means that Canonical, the maintainer of Ubuntu, can and will push changes like security fixes into the same tag. So you build Ubuntu 1904 from Ubuntu 1904 twice, you can get different results. And what about all the rest of, oh yeah, and we can do something else. We can nail down with a checksum. Well, this is completely repeatable, but not very useful. What version do I refer to? Is it even a valid SHA-2? Maybe my cat went over my keyboard and this is what we ended up with. And what about the rest of them? Well, the question is, can you log the version and all the transitive dependency tree when you do apt-get? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. How about other dependency tools? Maven, for example. Can you nail the dependency tree of Maven to be completely immutable? Well, if you don't know Maven, you will say, I don't know. If you do know Maven, you can say, well, I can. If you know Maven very well, you will say, well, I don't know. In any way, how about this? We can just get files from all over without any control. So what I mean by that is that's why you have this feeling. This is why every time you rebuild, you know that the Docker image that you get might be slightly different, and then you are not sure if what you have in production is exactly what you tested during your pipeline. What's the solution? Building a pipeline with promotion of immutable binaries. Great, great. What we want to do is this. We build it only once, and then we promote the right artifact through those quality gates all the way to production. And I keep speaking about those quality gates. Why are they important? They are super important because those quality gates are the guarantee that you won't end up in your production with untested binaries. This is how you know that what the production has been through the entire pipeline as it should be. So let's see how we can build this rock-solid pipeline with Docker. And by that I mean, how can we be sure that we separated development for production strongly enough that we can sleep well at night? We have a couple of options. The first is using labels. Labels are key value pairs, just strings, that you can attach to everything in Docker, including images, and then you could do something like maturity testing, maturity staging, maturity prod. This is nice, but those are just free form strings. You need to make sure that you put them, and you need to make sure that the receiving part, the runtime, actually checks for them in exactly the same way you intended. It's not strong enough. The other option is Docker repositories. Docker repositories sounds like a great idea. They have full RBAC control, and that means that you can control who sees which environment sees which repository. Great? Well, almost. The concept of Docker repositories comes from GitHub repositories. And as you know, there is no maturity separation in GitHub repositories. You don't have a separate GitHub repository for development, staging, and production. The repositories are for different projects. And it's exactly the same with Docker. The repositories are for different projects. So let's keep looking. What you really want to do is having separate registries per environment. If you have separate registries, those quality gates are ideal, because then the environments, the runtime environments, know nothing about any other registry except of the registry they need to consume. The problem is it's not so easy to do with Docker. And this is because Docker has some strange limitations that was imposed from the beginning and now are in our way. For example, or not for example, what I mean is the Docker tag syntax. When we tag or pull or push the image, we don't specify which registry it should be pushed or pulled from, but only on which host. And the question is now, I want multiple registries per host, right? I have a server with all those environments. How do I have multiple registries per host? How can we support something like that? And the answer is, well, Docker didn't intend you to actually do that. So it's a problem, but we have a solution. We can abuse the username token in the URL to use it as a maturity qualifier to say to which repository we actually want to go. And then when we have that and we have multiple registries per host, the next question is, how do we promote our images from one registry to another? When we had registries in different hosts, the answer was, well, through network. You pull, you retag, and you push. That's fine. Your registries are on different hosts anyway, so you will pay the network price either way. But now, when you have multiple registries per host, downloading, retagging, and uploading is just insane. So instead, you need to look for a tool that knows how to have multiple registries per host and know how to promote. And it's obviously achievable with JFrog Artifactory, JFrog Container Registry, and the JFrog platform, but there are other tools as well. What you need to look for are a number of things. First of all, here is our promotion pipeline. You can see here how we have local registries for dev, testing, staging, and prod, and they are sitting on the same storage. And it means the promotion moving from one registry to another is done by API, by different tools, by JFrog command line interface, or your favorite CI, and it is immediate and free because no files are actually moving. You just change the visibility of this Docker image from one registry to another. There are other important features. For example, proxying remote registries like Docker Hub. And you know, Docker Hub now will throttle you if you request the same image too many times. It will delete old images that no one uses. Having a proxy inside the same tool solves this problem. Now you are protected from requesting too many times, and you have a cache of what might be otherwise deleted. And the virtual registry is also very useful because it allows you to group any type of visibility from any type of other registries together and present it as a registry of its own. And this is our isolation in action. You can see how each and every cluster can only see the registry that it has to see and won't see others. And this is extremely important. Those are the quality gates. So we have win-win-win situation in which you have a single point of access to multiple registries when you need it. That's the virtual registry. You have completely unrelated environments, and those are the quality gates. And you have immediate and free promotions between all those registries because of the unified checksum-based deduplicated storage for all of them. So just to conclude, build only once, separate environment, promote what you have built, and own your dependencies in your system, and then you will have a very strong promotion pipelines. With that, thank you very much. I'm @Baruch on Twitter. This is CDCon. Use this hashtag, and show notes, the slides, the video, all the links, comments, rating, and don't forget the raffle for being here. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.